We're taking care of my niece, starting today. Huh? What did you just say? I said we're taking care of my niece here. You are our housewife, so you can take care of her too. Okay. When my husband came home, I found him holding a baby, his niece, in his arms. She was not very expressive, and despite being only 5 months old, she didn't consume much milk. Curious about how my sister-in-law had been caring for her, I asked my husband for details, but his response left me in the dark. He simply said that I had to figure it out on my own. After a while, I decided to call my mother-in-law to obtain our contact information. What she revealed took me by surprise. I see, so that's what it is, I thought, finally understanding the situation. I realized that my husband was taking advantage of me, and I was determined to assert myself. My name is Layla. Before I married my husband Alexander, I worked as a daycare teacher. However, I resigned from my job upon getting married, choosing to support my husband as a housewife. Alexander worked for a startup company and left for work at 7 a.m. every morning. While I had initially hoped to continue working and save money until we had children, a month before our wedding, Alexander presented me with a surprising ultimatum. He said, "Layla, I'm sorry, but if it's either me or your job, will you quit and become a housewife when we get married?" I was taken aback and asked, "A housewife? Why?" Alexander explained that he wanted me to focus on managing our home so that he could work harder, providing for us both. Despite my reservations about quitting my job, I eventually agreed because he was so serious about it. I had always enjoyed housework, so I accepted my role as a full-time housewife upon our marriage. 2 years had passed since then, and for the second time in a row, I hadn't received the money from my husband. Frustrated, I decided to address the issue over dinner. "Hey, I need to pay the rent soon, and I'm thinking of going to the hairdresser tomorrow. Can I have the money for this month?" Alexander's response surprised me. "Oh, got that. Can you manage it with half the amount from now on?" I questioned him, "What? Why?" He explained, "Well, my salary has gone down a little, so I can only give you less." Unsure how to react, I asked, "Is that so? How long?" Alexander replied vaguely, "I don't know, just hold on for the time being. It should get back to normal soon." Despite my attempts to manage our finances, I found myself frequently dipping into my savings. As time passed, I became increasingly uncomfortable with my husband's behavior. Initially, it didn't bother me, and I brushed it off. My husband often worked late in an attempt to increase his salary, but he would always come home before 7 p.m. However, this routine changed, and he started returning home after 11 p.m. One day, he didn't return until after midnight. Worry and anxiety overcame me as I considered various possibilities. I tried calling him, but he didn't answer his phone at all. This was highly unusual, and I feared that something might have happened to him. As my heart raced with concern, I decided that if he didn't return by the following morning, I would call the police. Just as I contemplated this, I heard the front door open. I rushed to the door to ensure my husband's safety, but what I saw was beyond my wildest imagination. In my husband's arms was a tiny baby, approximately 6 months old. I was utterly baffled as to why he was holding a baby, and I had no idea what was happening. My husband uttered words that left me in disbelief. "This is my niece. She's my sister's baby. We're going to take care of her from today." "What? What did you just say?" I exclaimed. "I said we're taking care of her here. Her name is Willow. She's 5 months old, I think. I'm counting on you, Layla." I was left in shock, struggling to comprehend the sudden arrival of a 5-month-old baby when I believed my sister-in-law had followed her husband for a job transfer to California. I was completely in the dark about the situation, so I implored my husband for an explanation. "Hey, please, explain it to me. I thought your sister was in California for her husband's work." My husband hesitated before responding. "Well, I heard they got divorced." "Divorced? Really? She came to our wedding with her husband. They seem to get along so well. Getting a divorce when the baby is still 5 months old?" My husband shrugged. "Don't ask me. I'm not them, you know. Anyway, my sister is divorced now and came back here for work. So she wants us to take care of Willow until her salary is stable." I was taken aback by this revelation. "Oh my gosh, I don't know. Is this for real? Wait, what about your mom? Would it be easier for your sister and the baby to stay with your parents?" My husband stammered, his expression displeased. "Actually, my sister hasn't told her parents about the divorce yet. She said she will tell them herself when she gets settled." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "What? But that doesn't mean we have to take care of the baby, right?" My husband explained, "I know, but my sister is going through a tough time. Besides, she left Willow with us for a reason." I was getting frustrated. "What do you mean? You were her daycare teacher, weren't you?" So you are good with babies, right? And you are a housewife now. You have free time during the day. I couldn't understand his reasoning. What's that supposed to mean? I have free time because I'm a housewife. I don't get it. My husband tried to clarify. You know what I mean. Feeling overwhelmed, I said, "Come on, Layla." My husband proceeded to open a beer, completely disregarding the situation. I was expecting a serious discussion about what to do next, but he seemed unfazed. "Alexander, are you kidding me?" I raised my voice, causing my niece Willow to cry loudly. My husband offered no assistance. Frustrated, I asked, "Hey, where are the diapers?" "She's crying." My husband's response was far from helpful. "I'll change her diaper and give her some milk." I was exasperated. "What's that? I don't have anything." "Huh? You didn't keep any of her baby stuff from your sister?" My husband's indifference was infuriating. I don't think so." I couldn't believe his lack of preparation. "Are you kidding me? Then what the hell are you going to do with her?" His frustration matched mine. "I don't know." My husband continued to drink his beer, leaving me with no choice but to leave my niece in his care as I rushed to the 24-hour drugstore. I purchased diapers, baby formula, bottles, wipes, and even some moisturizer for her dry skin. I loaded everything into a basket and hurried to the checkout counter. Upon returning home, I changed Willow's diaper, fed her, and gave her a bath until she finally calmed down. Despite my confusion, my experience as a former daycare teacher helped me care for the baby. By that time, it was already past midnight and my husband had gone to bed. The following morning, I woke him up as Willow slept. "Hey, Alexander, wake up." He groggily responded, "Huh? What is it? I was up late last night. I need more sleep." I reminded him, "Don't be silly. It's your day off. Willow needs some clothes. She doesn't have anything to put on. I'll go get them. So watch her, okay?" He seemed puzzled. "What? Why?" I insisted, "It's getting colder. Why is she wearing only underwear? Don't tell me. My sister gave her to me like that. Don't be irresponsible. Anyway, I'll get her some in a hurry, so don't let her out of your sight." I left my husband, who was still in bed, and rushed to a nearby shopping mall. There, I purchased clothes and toys for Willow and hurried back home. As I opened the front door, I heard Willow's cries, and I rushed to the living room to find her on the sofa, crying hysterically. My husband was standing next to her, engrossed in his phone, ignoring her cries. Frustrated, I questioned him, "What are you doing, Alexander? Will you give me that money back?" "Well, that's enough. This situation is ridiculous. I'll talk to your sister directly. Give me her contact. I'm a former childcare worker, but there are some things I don't know. How much milk she drinks, how much sleep she gets, and what kind of things she likes. If I'm going to take care of Willow, I at least want to meet her needs and treat her responsibly. In order to do that, I need to know how my sister-in-law treated her." But when I asked my husband for her contact information, he refused to give it to me. After all, he became a little angry and yelled at me. "Why do you have to ask my sister? Think for yourself." "What? Are you being serious? Willow is now in a place she's not used to. It's only fair to ask her mother what her lifestyle was like." My husband retorted, "I don't give a shit about that. Regular feedings and diaper changes. That's all you need to know anyway. Just do whatever you have to do until my sister comes to get her." I couldn't believe his dismissive attitude. Seriously? What the hell, Alexander? My husband sighed loudly and got up from the sofa. He grabbed his wallet and phone, then walked out of the house, leaving me frustrated with his irresponsibility. I couldn't understand what he was thinking when he was the one who brought Willow home. Feeling the need to provide a safe and secure environment for my niece, I decided to contact my mother-in-law for help. Ignoring the fact that my husband claimed his mother was unaware of my sister-in-law's divorce, I focused on Willow's well-being. After taking care of Willow and putting her to bed, I called my mother-in-law. "Hello," she answered. "Hi, it's me, Layla." "Oh, hi, Layla. It's been a while." Willow, who had been sleeping, let out a small cry in response to my voice. My mother-in-law heard it and opened her mouth in surprise. "Layla, I just heard a baby crying." "I'm sorry. That's why I called you today. I have some questions I'd like to ask you about this baby." "Willow, can you tell me your daughter's contact information?" "My daughter? I wonder what the baby has to do with my daughter." "What? Because Willow is her child. That's what Alexander said when he brought her home." "No, that can't be true. My daughter has a girl, but she's already 3 years old, and my daughter's family is on an overseas trip." My mother-in-law's words left me baffled, as they contradicted what my husband had told me. "What? Is your daughter divorced?" When I asked her the most important question, she denied it with surprise. "Divorced? No way. They just visited here last month for vacation. There's no way she's divorced." At that moment, the trust I had built up with my husband began to collapse. Everything he had said about this niece was a lie. I couldn't help but entertain unsettling thoughts. My mother-in-law seemed to share my suspicions and asked me in a trembling voice, "Layla, then Alexander brought the baby with him, right? And he told you it was his niece." "Oh my gosh, I know. I'm sorry. I think I need to do some research. I don't expect the result will be very good." "I know I heard you. I'll keep my mouth shut until we know what we're dealing with." After I finished talking to my mother-in-law, I hurried to check with a detective agency. Given the presence of Willow, I couldn't spare the time to visit the agency in person. Instead, I found out that I could request a remote background check on my husband for a few weeks. I remained composed throughout the process, even though I had my suspicions. My husband's behavior had raised many questions. He consistently came home after midnight as if avoiding me. A week later, a representative from the agency came to my house with the results of the investigation. As expected, the results confirmed my suspicions. My husband was indeed having an affair, and every night after work, he would visit his partner's house. The detective informed me that Willow was likely the child of this affair. My husband took advantage of my previous experience as a daycare teacher and left Willow with me to avoid any disruptions to the child's routine. I couldn't contain my anger at his selfish and deplorable behavior. I waited for him to return home that day, even as the clock passed midnight. Finally, a few hours later, my husband walked through the door. I seized the moment to confront him, saying, "Welcome home. Did you enjoy your time with your mistress?" He was taken aback and stammered, "What? What did you say? Mistress? What are you talking about?" "I already know everything," I replied, presenting him with photographic evidence of his affair. His face turned pale, and he was clearly distressed. "When did you take those pictures?" he demanded. "I called your mother to get your sister's contact information, and she surprised me. Your sister has not divorced, and she's currently abroad with her 3-year-old daughter." No, this is not right. She's not divorced, and she doesn't have a 5-month-old daughter. Is that right? Willow is yours, isn't she?" I accused him. He attempted to make excuses, shifting blame as if it weren't his fault. "Wait a minute. Be careful. She tricked me. She was the one who came on to me. I was just having fun, nothing serious. I don't even know if Jack is really mine." My disgust for him surged, and I retorted firmly, "You've got to be kidding me. You don't know if she's yours or not. Don't be irresponsible. Then get a DNA test or something and prove it. Even if she wasn't your child, I won't forgive you. You cheated on me and betrayed me." He begged for forgiveness, tears in his eyes, but I couldn't be swayed. This man had committed the gravest betrayal against me, his wife. It took time, but I eventually decided to divorce my husband. I also sought alimony from his mistress and received a lump sum payment. The burden of alimony led Alexander and his mistress into debt, causing frequent arguments between them. In the end, the relationship crumbled. His mother and sister offered no assistance. He had lied and cheated on his wife, forcing her to care for a child he had with another woman. No woman could forgive such actions. As for Willow, she was well taken care of. Concerning her mother's parents' house, as I bid her farewell, Willow smiled at me for the first time. She was the child of my husband and the woman he had an affair with. Typically, I would have harbored resentment, but strangely, I didn't. The child was innocent. It was the cheater who was at fault. I am now divorced and living alone, but I still think of Willow from time to time. There may be challenges in her future due to her parents' absence, but I hope she will grow up strong and resilient in the face of adversity. That's the best I can wish for now.